Hello friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. Today we have 3 stories out of the entitled Parent subreddit plus 1 story out of the entitled People subreddit. Let's begin. Our first story is posted by Princess Cheetos 77. Update: 3 EMs send their kids over for food because I have too much. Wow, my original post really blew up. Thanks to everyone for their advice and concern. I really thought there wouldn't be much more to the story, but there is. For those of you who are wondering, we live in the western United States, near the Rocky Mountains. That's all I'm willing to say. Preppers and people with food storage, like mine, are pretty much the norm where we are. But there are people like the 3 EMs that don't prepare beyond their monthly grocery trips. It's just assumed that everyone here has some sort of food storage. But as a rule, we don't ask or talk about them. After my encounter with the EMs Friday, I didn't think much of it, but I did tell my husband. He was not amused. In my post about the EG that tried to take our movie seats, I mentioned that my health has been declining. My husband had become fiercely protective of me. He wanted to storm over and rip into all 3 of them, but I managed to convince him not to. He did ask for screenshots of the texts just in case. I happily sent them to him. Saturday night, after I went to bed early, the neighbor who had told me that EM1 had been complaining about me, we'll call her nice neighbor, showed up on my porch with neighbor cop NC and spoke through the screen door to my husband. Nice neighbor said that she and several other neighbors were concerned when EM2 had basically admitted to threatening to come and take my food storage. I guess EM2 was telling people that like it was a funny story or something. Neighbor Cop was there because he co-heads our neighborhood watch and is also EM2's brother-in-law. I've always gotten the impression that he and EM2 don't get along. Quick note, I have several police officers as well as firemen that live in our neighborhood. In fact, I have 3 different police officers living on my street. Neighbor Cop asked hubby if we had proof of the text conversation, and hubby sent him a copy. Neighbor Cop thanked him and told him that he would be speaking to his sister-in-law later that night. Hubby thanked them, and both of them left. This morning, Sunday, Neighbor Cop showed up again. He told hubby that he'd met up with the 3 EMs and their husbands, and sternly told them that with the screenshots hubby had given him, he could arrest the 3 of them for harassing and threatening me. That if anything happens to our house, that they would be the first on the list of people to talk to and or arrest. I don't know if he just told them that to scare them, but he knows the law better than me, so I'll just go with it. He also told them that he had informed the other cops that live in the neighborhood and that they, as well as the neighbors that were concerned in the first place, would also be watching them and not to do anything stupid. So, that's it for now. Neighbor Cop told us to call him if we have any problems with anyone, but I don't anticipate anything soon. Neighbor Cop admitted to hubby that all 3 of the EMs looked terrified after he mentioned being arrested, and their husbands were furious at them. EM's husband number 1 even asked her, "How could you think it's okay to threaten a sick person?" EM2's husband told her that she was dumb for threatening someone who owns a shotgun. I'll update if anything else happens. I'm glad that there is a resolution to the story, and I'm glad that they were kind of jostled back into reality. I think the EMs in the story thought that people would side with them and say, oh yeah, the OP is just a kooky person and stuff like that, that she should give you some of their food. But no, what happened in reality was people were absolutely horrified by the idea of somebody kicking down their door and taking their food just because they want it. In fact, I think most people are horrified by that. And I'm glad that these EMs were kind of knocked back into reality by that cop and basically putting them on notice that they'll be watching them. Anyway, moving on to our next story. Our next story is posted by Mortis Mollum. EM demands my handicap parking spot and threatens to call the police for me faking missing my leg and for assaulting her. I'm on mobile, so sorry about any formatting issues. This happened about a month ago. I have many of these stories dealing with handicap parking. A bit of background. I lost my leg when I was 13 due to a drunk driver, so I've had a handicap parking permit since I started driving. I'm in my 30s now and quite heavily tattooed and often wear shorts when not freezing so pant leg doesn't get caught in the knee joint of the prosthetic. I have some political and music/punk stickers on my car. This interaction went something like this. Cast: me, self-explanatory. EM, entitled mother. Kid, son of entitled mother, probably 8 or 9 years old. NS, nice stranger. I pull into the last handicap spot that was open at the grocery store parking lot. As I'm getting out, a car stops behind me and an EM gets out and storms over to me. EM, you need to move. I need this spot. Me, I'm sorry? EM, you need to move your car. I need this spot. My son just got done with basketball practice and is tired and worn out, so I need this spot by the entrance. Me, I'm sorry, but I've already parked and I have a tag to park here. I'm not moving. EM, all you liberal degenerate punks are all the same. You only care about yourselves. You're probably using someone else's tag because you're lazy. Me, haha, I'm not the lazy one here. If you opened your eyes, you could see I have a prosthetic leg. Now I'm gonna go do my shopping. I thought that would be the last of it, but 15 minutes later, I turned into the aisle and accidentally bumped carts with EM. EM, how dare you? You did that on purpose. That's assault. I'm calling the police. Me, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I promise you, it wasn't on purpose. I had no idea you were there. EM, liar! Just like you are lying about being an amputee so you can steal parking spaces. Me, can you not see the fact that I have a prosthetic leg? EM, it's fake. You probably have your leg bent up. Me, yes, it's a fake leg. It's prosthetic. I guarantee you it's missing. I try to move past to continue shopping. EM, you are staying right here. You still assaulted me with your cart and could have hurt my kid. Kid, Mom, let's just go. EM, see, my son wants to go because he's hurt. I hope you're happy. Kid, turns bright red. Mom, that's not true. Nice stranger, is everything okay here? EM, this punk assaulted me with his cart and is pretending to be disabled. Nice stranger, pretending to be disabled? Can you not see he has a prosthetic leg? I've been in this aisle the whole time. It sure seems like an accident. I think you should go on your way and stop harassing people. EM pushes past me, almost making me lose my balance, but I say thanks to the nice stranger and continue with my shopping and didn't have another run-in with the EM. I was curious about whether the entitled mom had a placard, and so I asked the OP. The OP said that she didn't have a placard. She thought she could just park there because her kid was tired. Even though this woman was extremely rude, I'm glad they didn't feel the need to rip off the OP's prosthetic leg to prove that the OP is faking it, only to realize that the person is missing a leg. The reason I say that because that's happened in a few other stories where people with disabilities have had run-ins with EMs, and it becomes the EM's goal to prove that they're faking their disability and either take off their prosthetic leg or they damage it somehow or just plain assault them. And I'm glad that that didn't happen to the OP. Anyway, moving on to our next story. If you've been watching until here and are enjoying my content, please put some heart emojis in the comment section down below. Our next story is posted by Nuts and Crunchies. Family is told to self-quarantine after the daughter tests positive for Voldemort virus, proceeds to run errands around town, including attending a school dance. This is big news in St. Louis. A young woman returned from Italy to Chicago and then took Amtrak to St. Louis. She began to feel symptoms and called. She was tested for Voldemort virus. Her family was told by health officials last Thursday to self-quarantine for their good as well as the community. Since then, the father went to a cafe and to somebody's house. The mom went to a restaurant, a grocery store, a gym, and a nail salon. Most egregiously, the father took the daughter to a father-daughter dance at a fancy hotel. Several schools who had students who attended the same dance are now closed for decontamination and testing. This family, who was repeatedly told by health officials to stay home, took it upon themselves to possibly infect countless people around the region because they didn't want to be inconvenienced. Thankfully for them, their names have not been released. People in St. Louis are furious about the disrespect for public health. I can't believe the nerve of some people to think it's okay to spread a communicable illness to the rest of the community because they couldn't be bothered to follow health guidelines. It makes me wonder if they're going to start bringing back forcible quarantines, especially for people like this, who are a danger to others. Anyway, on to our next story. Our final story today is posted by It's Just a Me, entitled Mom Bullies Me While Shopping. This one just blew my mind and seriously ticked me off. This happened yesterday. I'll try and type any dialogue to the best of my recollection. I ended up at the grocery store because I realized there were a few necessities I forgot to stock in preparation for my family's self-isolation. Shopping was relatively easy, though it was fairly busy and people wore masks and kept a wide berth from one another. When I got to the checkout section, I was satisfied because everyone kept 6 feet between themselves and others in line. I stepped into a line that only had one woman in it, and her purchases were already on the conveyor belt, and she was standing down by the cashier about 6 feet in front of me. She had her empty cart behind her, so my shopping cart was pushed against hers. Brilliant way to force social distancing, by the way. Now, in American grocery stores, it's common that the aisle dividers at the end of the conveyor belt extend 3 to 5 feet so shops can stock shelves with impulse items. Since I was right at the end of the conveyor belt and the aisle divider extender, I was essentially trapped. Enter EM, her husband, and their 3-year-old daughter. EM and her husband stepped right up behind me. I could practically feel the husband's breath when he spoke. Ugh. EM is holding her 3-year-old in her arms. I could reach out and touch them, all without fully extending my arms. Me. Whoa, can you please back up? The experts are recommending a distance of 6 feet during this pandemic. EM, with a seriously straight up witchy attitude. Excuse you? I'm fine right where I am. Why? You think you're some sort of Disney princess that can get people to do what you want if you snap your fingers? Me, flabbergasted. Please back up. You're entirely too close to me. EM. I'm not sick, princess. Mind your expletive business. Me. Can you please back up so I can exit the line? You can have my spot. EM and her husband back up, allow me to pull my cart out of line. As I'm walking towards the next cashier, I hear EM, told you this works. Now, I get the impression that EM intended to run me out of line because of the statement. It was something conspiratorial in the delivery. I could be wrong, of course. Well, when I stepped up into another cashier's line, the cashier I just left began having some sort of a system error. All others in line were 3 to 4 people deep. So, lucky me. EM and her family repeat the same behavior behind me. The entire family is, once again, within hugging distance or perhaps punching distance. EM smiles smugly. I'm ticked, and it bled into my verbiage. Me. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're risking your daughter's health, my health, to prove some sort of a point that is entirely lost on me. Do you need to establish dominance? Back up and let me leave this line. EM. Shut the expletive up. My daughter isn't sick. I can take care of my kid. Me. Your daughter isn't sick yet. You keep playing these stupid games and you'll win stupid prizes, and your daughter may get a participation trophy. I'm moving past her and towards another line. I decide to get into a line behind 2 individuals practicing social distancing. EM steps right up to the register and loudly begins to complain to the cashier. EM. You need to kick that woman out of the store. She just told me she hopes my daughter gets Voldemort virus. Cashier. Lady, I don't have the patience for you today. I saw what happened. You were out of line. End of discussion. The woman in line ahead of me starts laughing. I'm smiling like a vindicated idiot. EM. Are you kidding me? You're out of line. I want to talk to the manager. Cashier. Sure, no problem. When you leave, you can call the store and we will get him on the phone for you. EM. No, I want to talk to him now. Cashier. And I want a Hemsworth brother waiting naked in my bed when I get home. Neither of those things are happening. At this point, I've decided I wish I were a man because I'm sort of in love with this cashier. He's definitely won me over. EM. How dare you be so vulgar in front of my daughter? Cashier. The same daughter who heard you tell another customer to shut the duck up? The EM was ticked, but shut her mouth for the remainder of the interaction. I eyed her the whole time, waiting for her to lose her marbles. Her husband never spoke to anyone other than her. She ended up exiting the store before me. Of course, as she exited, she kept promising to call the manager and have the witty cashier's job. After she left, the cashier turned around and gave me the proudest, cheesiest smile and said, I got your back, sis. I love him. Italicized edited. Other words were exchanged between the cashier and the EM. However, I only shared the parts of the conversation I felt I remembered correctly, which was the beginning of their interaction. The EM didn't raise her voice anymore, so the rest of it was a bit anticlimactic. I'm failing to understand what the heck this EM is trying to prove by this. Is this part of the whole, I tested positive and therefore I want to go spread it to as many people as possible, like that guy in Warrington, Missouri, who was supposed supposed to self-quarantine and instead went and licked a bunch of toiletries and items in Walmart, and now he's being charged with terrorism? Or is she just bringing the kid and the husband out to irritate people in the stores who are trying to get about their day and get the necessary items they need to sit out the quarantine? And in which case, if that's how she gets her laughs, it's pretty pathetic. Anyway, that's all the stories I have for today. Links to the original Reddit posts will be in the description box below. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love and an upvote. If you enjoy my content, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new videos. Thank you for watching and have a great day.